Matthew Guy has faced a series of internal and external party challenges as he tries to gain some clear air 7 days out from the election. The opposition leader is promising to bring back Victoria's parliament prior to Christmas as Daniel Andrews prepares to face the opposition leader in the Sky News Herald Sun People's Forum on Tuesday. For more, let's go to our Victorian political reporter, Simon Love. Simon, it's been a 48 hours to forget for Matthew Guy. What's your analysis of the whole week?
Well, this is the last thing that Matthew Guy really wanted heading into the final week of the campaign. A series of distractions and things that the Liberal Party have had to deal with. It all begins with, on Thursday, the extraordinary statement from the Victorian Electoral Commission saying that their investigation into Matthew Guy's former Chief of Staff, Mitch Catlin, who allegedly tried to top up his taxpayer-funded salary with a $100,000 donation from a Liberal Party donor. Well, that investigation was referred off to IBAC because the VEC had exhausted all of its investigations and also said that it hadn't received full cooperation from all the parties in that matter. Now, when the VEC was further pressed on that on radio, the communications director of the commission actually said that actually alluded that there wasn't cooperation potentially from Matthew Guy, even though that Matthew Guy insists that he has given the commission everything it has wanted in this investigation. So on Friday, an extraordinary legal letter written up by the Liberal Party to the Victorian Electoral Commission, essentially asking them to cease and desist. Now, my understanding, speaking with very senior sources within the Liberal Party, is there was quite some consternation over whether to actually launch this legal letter and actually go that far and accuse the VEC ultimately of interference. My understanding is that not all senior figures in the Liberal Party were on board with this approach, even though Matthew Guy and Georgie Crozier on the day certainly seemed to back the approach from State Party Director Sam McQuestion. So clearly there is some internal battles over whether that was the right way to go, and that really kicked it all off for Matthew Guy, given that yesterday further revelations, this is not something new to Victorian politics, but further revelations about the Liberal candidate for Eastern Victoria, Renee Heath, and her links to the City Builders Church out in Gippsland. Now, this actually sparked a couple of months ago an outgoing MP, Catherine Burnett-Wake, to stand up in the Parliament in her valedictory speech and ultimately take aim at right-wing elements of the party trying to infiltrate politics. And ultimately, she was not pre-selected. Instead, Renee Heath was. But yesterday, Matthew Guy wasn't able to disendorse her, but he was able to say that she would not miss Renee Heath sit in the Liberal Party room if she's elected. She's still on the ballot, Kieran, and on the top spot.
Yeah, it's not a great couple of days, as you said there. And Simon, police are investigating another MP over comments towards the Premier.
So this is Catherine Cumming, the independent MP for the Western Metropolitan Region in the 59th Parliament, but coming up into this next Parliament, she's now running for the Angry Victorians Party. Ms Cumming appeared at a rally on the steps of Flinders Street Station yesterday and said that, and made comments that she would like to see Daniel Andrews turned into, quote, red mist. Now, of course, that given that she's had some history in the military, it was perhaps an inference that about the mist that would come out of a sniper when a shot was fired. So certainly not great comments that drew wide condemnation from all political leaders yesterday, particularly the Labor Party. And now Victoria Police have released a statement saying they're assessing whether Ms Cumming could have taken part allegedly in insightful behaviour at that rally yesterday. So certainly not a good turn in politics. The Labor Party have been trying to accuse the Liberals of preferencing Dr Cumming ahead of Labor, even though the Liberals insist that Dr Cumming is 10th on in their preferences in the Western Metropolitan Region. So certainly something that everyone will be trying to move on as we head into this final week.
Simon, tell us where you are this morning as we begin this final week of the campaign.
So I'm in the suburb of Bentley, which in the federal election and the boundaries of Goldstein actually takes in this boundary. And when you look at that, on the map extrapolated over with some state seats, given that Goldstein went independent, Zoe Daniel picking that up, obviously on a very strong integrity campaign. There are a number of state seats at play in and around this area, particularly Caulfield, Sandringham and also Bentley. Brighton's also one to watch as well, given the Liberal Party only just got over the line at the last election. So Matthew Guy will be campaigning here in the seat of Bentley in little under an hour's time, and he'll be keen to move on from some of those dramas that have dogged his campaign in the last 48 hours. But certainly, we were travelling around the state this week from Melton in the west of Melbourne all the way down to the Mornington Peninsula to Nepean, and also to Bass, the seat of Bass on the Gippsland coast. Not one voter in the 60-odd voters that I spoke to actually raised integrity as an issue. So whether integrity might come up as an issue in, say, these sorts of seats, we'll have to wait and see on election night.
And also whether it comes up on from the undecided voters on Tuesday evening at the only televised debate of the campaign, that being the Sky News Herald Sun People's Forum. It is going to be really intriguing to see the mood among the undecided voters and what issues they go to, Simon.
I think this is going to be crucial, because the only setting that we ever see Daniel Andrews and Matthew Guy in and going literally at it in front of each other is the actual parliament. So the time that we will see them outside of the parliament will be at our Sky News People's Forum that you'll be hosting, Kieran. 100 undecided voters. And speaking with very senior Labor sources, they prefer this format. They prefer the questions coming from the punters, the people, rather than what journalists may like to ask, as much as they're probably important questions, as you know, Kieran. But I'm sure you'll be putting in some very important questions in amongst the questions from our undecided voters too. But I think this will be crucial this week, because even though more than 10% of the electorate's already gone for early voting here in Victoria, people may want to see that contest between Daniel Andrews and Matthew Guy, and Tuesday night is the only forum that really offers it.
Yeah, and there's a solid chunk of undecided voters as well as those that have voted early. Simon, great to chat. Thank you for your time as always. We'll talk to you right throughout the week, and I'll see Simon on Tuesday at the Victorian People's Forum. This is the Sky News Herald Sun People's Forum, the only televised debate of the campaign. Daniel Andrews and Matthew Guy go head-to-head at 100 undecided voters. I will be moderating this debate and forum Tuesday evening live, 6:30 p.m. Right here is the place you will find that.